Welcome and thank you for joining Happy Hour Holidaze. This is your host, Manny Fresh. We got my co-host, Sean Fabre over there, and we're your go-to podcast for business, entrepreneurship, and life stories. We want you to get inspired, motivated to build your dream. Today in studio, we got one of the best attorneys here in the Tampa Bay area, Ben Stranzl. Stranzl.
You got it.
I fucked up.
You got it. It's not an easy one.
Stranzl.
No, that was a prior guest.
So Ben, tell us a little bit about how you got interested in law. And, I know you said it was a good story, so we love good stories, man.
Certainly, Manny, and no worries on the name. Half my family says it wrong. So, but yeah, no, my background getting into law is a little different. It's certainly never something I thought about. Verbal and reading were never my strong suits. I was always a math kid. I'd grown up in Eastern Pennsylvania. I went to University of Delaware. Had a little bit too much fun at my fraternity. And the school did not agree with some of my tactics. So I transferred down to USF down here. And, just a couple weeks in Tampa, and I knew this was the place I was staying. I wasn't going anywhere else. I was bartending at not this Macaroni Grill, but the one on South Tampa. It's not there anymore, down by the stadium. And this weird old guy, I served him and his family, and he follows me into the bathroom. And I was like, what's going on? This guy was like 65 years old, short guy, just real weird. And, nice guy. But
Danny DeVito looking motherfucker?
A little bit. But not the personality of Danny DeVito. And he follows me in the bathroom. I'm like, what the hell? And this guy gives me a card. He's like, hey, man, you've done a great job serving us. Here's my card. I own a law firm in Tampa, a small firm. If you ever want to come and be a runner for my firm, call me.
Like ambulance chasing?
No, they did insurance defense, but this was before electronic filing and stuff like that. So runners actually would run stuff to the courthouse and deliver it to the courthouse and physically file it. I didn't know what it was either. I had no idea. I'd never thought about working for a law firm, never thought about being a lawyer. And I went home to my wife and I was like, this weird guy followed me in the bathroom. I don't know what to make of this, and I told her, and I was like, I had no intention of calling, and I credit my wife. She's like, why don't you just call him and see? So I went in there for an interview. Guy shows up an hour late for the interview. No one else knew he was even interviewing me at the firm. It was really weird. He hires me. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. I'll try it. Why not? Try something new.
Yeah.
So I started. This was on like a Thursday. I started on the following Monday. Well, that guy's on vacation. He's gone. He didn't tell anybody he hired me. So I'm just sitting in there. No one knows what's going on. So I'm just in there. Finally, the office manager, she's not a lawyer. She's just our office manager, still there today. She's great. She's like, look, I don't know what to tell you, but, you can stay here, but Sam's not here. He's not going to be for a couple of days. So I literally had a little desk in the kitchen. People started talking to me, and stuff like that. I still had no idea I wanted to go to law school, but turns out, 18 years later, I'm still with that firm. And I stayed with them.
Was that Fitzsimmons?
Yeah, it's Fitzsimmons, and he's not the little guy following me in the bathroom. That was Mandelbaum. He's gone now. He's retired, but
Mandelbaum from the Seinfeld.
Yeah, Mandelbaum. So what an experience. Running for the firm. I would deliver stuff to the federal courthouse. I would deliver stuff to the local courthouse. I would run and get checks and meet clients and stuff like that. And it was life changing a little bit meeting some of these guys, and they're like, why don't you go to law school? I was like, I don't got the grades, I don't got the ability to pass the LSAT or anything like that. So, my wife and some of the guys there convinced me just take the LSAT, see what happens. Took it, killed it, went to law school, worked at the same firm through law school, came out after law school. And, the great thing about my firm, we do certain things and everything, but they said you can do whatever you want as long as you make money. Whatever kind of law you want to do, bring in clients, do it.
So don't you have to have a bachelor's to take the LSAT?
Yeah, so I graduated USF first.
With what kind of degree?
I had an economics degree.
And that was enough to be able to take the LSAT?
You don't have to have any, there's no
law
required for pre-law or anything like that. No, it's just you have to graduate with a degree, bachelor's degree. You're eligible for the LSAT. Take the LSAT. The scores keep going up what you need. But, and then from there, law school stuff.
Where'd you go to law school?
I went to law school in Orlando at FAMU.
Okay.
And I got in there in Stetson. Stetson was a little too pricey.
Yeah.
So, and I knew I wanted to work for my law firm. So I wasn't trying to build a resume or anything like that. Yeah. I knew I was going to go to my firm. I was going to stay. I was going to build a practice, become a partner, and, really make it into something over my life.
So are you a senior partner?
Yeah, I'm named partner now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And what's the name of the law firm?
It's Fitzsimmons, Hewitt, Stranzl, and Spade.
Yeah.
I just became named about 8 months ago.
Damn, congrats, man.
Yeah, congrats.
I like the story, bro, man.
Appreciate it.
That's awesome.
And I've known
Ball followed you into the bathroom.
I tell people that, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't know. That sounds weird, man. You don't have to tell the story." I'm like, "Oh." Man.
Real question is, when you were working there, did he ever follow you into the bathroom again?
No, I'm not going to give him on air, but I got some real strange stories with that guy. He's a great guy. He got me into law, but he's just.
Is he still alive?
Yeah. He's just retired.
He's got to be like 80, right?
Yeah, he lives a life a little different than how other people do. He's not time sensitive in any way. So. Just cruises to the beat of his own drum, which I'm jealous of in some ways.
Showing up an hour late to the interview, it's like
that's nothing. That's nothing. I mean, an hour late to everything.
To become a named partner, don't you have to pay a certain amount of sum in order to? You have to be invested in the firm, correct?
So there's a couple ways.
Is it like $1 million, $500,000,
Yeah,
$250,000?
I stroked that $500,000 check. No,
because that's what we saw on Suits.
He does it in Suits. Some firms require it. You can buy in and become a named partner and become. You don't even have to be named, but you could just be a partner and you buy in, and now you're an equity holder. Some firms do it through sweat equity. You've been there for a certain number of years. That they just give it to you in little increments, and then other firms they'll do it where if you got a big client that's the one bringing in all the money to the firm. Well, they want to secure you for a number of years. The best way to do that is name you as a partner.
Because you could just leave that firm and take the client with you.
Yeah, you could sell that book of business to another firm and take it there for a lot more money. And people do that. You see it jumping. It happens rarely, though, once you're a named partner. That's my firm now. I'm not going to just leave. I need a major reason to leave.
How many people are employed by Fitzsimmons,
Hewitt, Stranzl, and Spade.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. That's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful. We say FHSS.
Okay, there you go.
A lot easier. FHSS. Actually, most of the time, and this is a knock on myself, but if someone does a call or something like that, I'll just say Fitzsimmons Hewitt, man. I don't got the energy for all 4 names. But we got 9 lawyers. We're actually trying to hire a 10th right now. We're in talks with some people.
Got paralegals.
We got 6 paralegals, receptionists, office manager, stuff like that. So
like 20.
Yeah, it's like 15, 16, 17
Are you guys in downtown Tampa?
Yeah, so we were just in South Tampa at Hyde Park and in Hyde Park there. We just moved over by International Mall literally a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
So we were having some issues with our landlord and said we're out.
Were you guys ever in the Wells Fargo building?
We were in the Wells Fargo building, yeah.
At the top?
Yeah.
Do you know John Kane?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
John Kane was a partner of mine.
Yeah?
Yeah, he left the firm recently, about a year ago.
Did you know Ramsey?
Yeah, Ramsey.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
And his brother. I represented his brother on some stuff, yeah.
Ramis or Shaddy?
Ramis.
Ramis?
Yeah.
That's our brother-in-law.
That's our brother-in-law.
Yeah, way back. Ask him. Him and I we got a story going to court together. Him and I, this is like 11 years ago too. So and Ramsey, I've known Ramsey for a long time. He was at my wedding. Him and Christian, both of them forever.
Nice, man.
So,
so we're connected but never met.
Yeah.
Even though we were at the same wedding, Christian's wedding.
And you guys have golfed with my law partner, Steve Spade.
Yeah.
He's not a good golfer, but he's fun.
He told us a story how he got, for the firm, a great deal at Hunter's Green because the guy pretty much gave away the deal.
He told you what?
This is what he said. It was only $300 a month, no initiation fee.
I think he inserted his name in for me, but
did you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, you're the one who did. What about that story? Because what he told us is
that guy got fired from Hunter's Green.
Well, he said he was leaving the next, he's gone, and he gave a certain deal, no initiation fee, only $300 a month for a corporate membership, and that was it.
It was
signed off on it.
It was like $290 and a month for each of us, and we signed off on it and agreed and everything. And I'm a contract lawyer, so you're not breaking that. That's something that's it's in writing. And they came back like a day later, and it was his boss. Like, we let go of that guy. He wasn't authorized to make this kind of deal. This is half what other people are paying. I'm like, that's great, but he did. And he was your director of sales and stuff like that. So they're like, look, the best thing we can do is I think they gave it to us like $320 or $330. So they upped it a little bit, but they gave us free lockers and free carts for life. I'm like, all right, done. Signed again.
Yeah.
Perfect, because free carts is huge.
That's still no initiation fee.
And still no initiation. And, it's one of the best decisions in my life. If I could count my great decisions in my life on one hand, my wife, my kids, where I live, Hunter's Green is next up there. I love it. The membership, because we could have been at Tampa Palms, Could have been at Carrollwood.
Isn't it a reciprocal course that you can still play at Tampa
Cross Bay.
Palms?
We could play Tampa Palms, East Lake, which is now like Arda or something like that.
We played there recently.
Adria.
We just played a tournament there last week. Yeah.
So and then there's one in Countryside or something like that down in Clearwater. There.
Countryside.
But just the Hunter's Green membership is by far the best. The men there and the whole staff. It's just so fun. All the tournaments. Christian got a little taste of it this week. So.
Yeah,
the clubhouse is nice too.
Yeah, he said the customer service, they treat you well. I mean, the course is fantastic. It's all around. It's a great membership to have.
I did it to get clients, and I've met. We've gotten a bunch of clients out of there, a bunch of business clients, a bunch of different types of clients out of there. So it helps my firm. And we get to play golf. It's fantastic.
And you tell them it's a private course. I mean, they get a little excited about that because they can't just go book it on golf now.
Yep. No, and it's great, and it's been a good experience for the firm, for Spade, for we got another associate who's part of the corporate membership. Well.
Steve, you lied to us. You told us you got the deal.
Actually, I'm not sure. Emails if needed.
I'm not sure if he told us he got the deal or not. I redact that.
Yeah, he was. Spade's great though, and he loved. He loves being up there and playing. Spade's a great law partner too. Him and I don't do exactly the same stuff, so we do a little bit different types of law. But having Spade in the office is fantastic. He's not just a great lawyer, but he's a great. We have our battles. We prank each other. We get each other with different stuff. He's actually on my list to get in the next couple of weeks, but he's got that real cool demeanor and personality that just allows that.
Can you tell the audience exactly what kind of law you practice?
So I do a lot of commercial litigation and small business startup. That's the stuff I really enjoy doing. That's the stuff I excel at. And what that is, small business startup especially, is I help startup businesses or businesses in their infancy with contracts, with their operating agreements, with their leases. I'll say this: the number one killer of a business early on, in my experience, is a bad lease.
Talking about like a rental lease.
Yeah. So where is your property? Where is your building? Where are you going to be? You're going to sign a 5-year lease, a 7-year lease. What are the terms of that? Is it triple net? Is there going to be taxes included in that? There's a lot of things that people don't think through or even understand to think through because they've never done it before on a lease that will kill a business early on. Unexpected costs that you don't know about. Especially with, I do a lot of brewery law. As
I was going to bring that in. Yeah. I mean, as I was going to say, you represent a lot of breweries here, and that's something interesting. There's a lot of attorneys that do that. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I got into the breweries through my wife, my lovely wife. She was a bartender at Brass Tap years ago, the first Brass Tap.
Brass Tap right there off of Dale Mabry and Limebell?
No, in Wiregrass, the first one up in Wiregrass Mall. This is like 12, 13 years ago.
It's still there, isn't it?
Still there, yeah. But that was the first Brass Tap. And when they first opened, a little bit after they first opened, she was one of the bartenders, and I would go in there and slam down beers.
And, did you join the club?
Yeah, exactly.
Where you were trying to get the 100 shirt?
I didn't join the club. It would have been cheating because I was there all the time.
I got all the way up to the 300.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 300 different kinds of beers.
Wow.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I did used to drink out of the boot, though. That was my favorite.
I never did that.
They put the kibosh on that because people were breaking them. So
did you actually? Were you able to chug the whole thing?
Not like a
beer fest.
Beer fest. Yeah, no, I couldn't do the turn. No. But anyway, so her manager up there was a guy named Ryan Dowdle, and you guys are golfers, fantastic golfer, played golf at Wisconsin, really cool guy. He started Angry Chair Brewing about 10 years ago. He started Angry Chair Brewing, and I would drink beers all the time up there, while she was bartending, but him and I would talk golf. I would just ignore my wife and talk golf with this guy.
Were you married at the time?
We were not quite yet married at the time, no. So when he first had the idea to start this brewery, he calls me up. He's like, hey, you think you can help us? I was like, man, I got to be honest with you. It's not really my area of law, but I'll do it for free so I can start to, learn this
Gain
stuff,
experience.
help you out. I'm not going to charge you, so it helps you. I'll do everything I can. And from there, he started in the brewing industry is very close-knit. Everybody knows everybody. They've all cycled through Cigar City at some point. They've all worked there. And some of the other breweries they've all worked at. So my name got out, each year I was picking up one or more. I think we're 12 or 13 breweries now that we're doing work for. The good thing is if you do it right, if you help set them up right from the beginning, and this isn't just breweries, this is all businesses, they often don't need you, much more after that. They got their contracts in place. So I do, of all the breweries, the least amount of work I do is with Angry Chair, and they were my first client because, they're all set up right. They got their stuff going. They call once in a while for contracts and stuff. So,
I mean, is there a lot of law to be done for a brewing company?
to start up.
So
there is.
after the setup, the startup, I mean, are you having to litigate after that?
They got distribution contracts that often need to be maybe not litigated but fought or debated at least. They got a lot of it's with the landlords where we battle with them. Other breweries, I do trademark work. Some of my biggest legal battles with the breweries have been over trademarks. I still have one going against a not very good brewery up in Massachusetts who I'll talk down on, Lord Hobo. They got one good beer, but the brewery's named Lord Hobo, and they're in a battle with one of our local breweries here. And
Over a trademark?
a trademark on
Like naming of a beer?
Yeah, naming of a beer.
Even though they're all the way in a different state.
Yeah, so they sell them nationwide though, so they get them on a distribution. So that does affect, and the trademarks are interesting. A lot of people don't understand. They just think, okay, I have this name, so therefore no one else can use it. That's not how that works. You got to file for the trademark. You got to establish. Not only does it meet the USPTO trademark requirements, because you can't just trademark anything. I can't just say the color red is now trademarked because I'm using it. There's different requirements you need to first get trademark, and then to protect your mark, over time. That's something that's very important and can be valuable to a brewery, especially ones that have a valuable beer. Because, all right, so my moderately selling beer is also being sold in Oregon. Who cares? All right. But now if I'm going to use Cigar City as an example here, High Lie blew up that company.
Great
because
beer,
it was
it's
such a great beer.
It's an
There was
IPA.
no other beer like it at the time when they came out with that one, 12, 13 years ago. And it just took over the market, in Tampa. Then it took over the Florida market. Then it took over the national market. The value on that beer is tremendous. So you got to protect that name. So if you have a great beer that's coming up, you need, a lawyer or someone who at least can do the trademark searches in your brewery and make sure that no one else is infringing that. And it's not just an exact name, anything close, anything that could confuse the public.
Let me ask you a question. If you have the same name, but it's in a different industry, is that a trademark infringement?
Great question. That is not a trademark infringement, but you would be surprised to know how they rule what industry you're in. So, for instance,
for instance, here, Happy Hour Holidaze is also a sunglass brand, because I Googled our podcast and sunglasses came up. Are we infringing?
You're not. You wearing those badass sunglasses like that?
These are not.
No. Because there's no likelihood of confusion between the public as to
between a
Happy Hour
podcast
Holidaze
and a sunglass product, right?
And a sunglass product. Now,
free legal advice, yes.
If you were, no, I've been billing you, man.
Damn it, all your attorneys, they're all the same.
I gave you a good hourly rate. No, now if you were advertising sunglasses on this show, that could be different.
Okay.
Because even though you're not in the industry, you have a likelihood or a potential likelihood of confusion on that. So I'm not saying it would be a violation, but it could be. You're getting closer to that line. Where I got into a big fight early in the brewery days was we had a client that did a beer that had a similar name to a wine. There's no way, in my opinion. Now we lost this. I lost this battle, right, with the trademark office because they're.
How do you confuse a beer with a wine?
That's what I said. All right, but they said generally speaking, they're in the same category. They
Alcohol.
are liquor.
Yeah.
Okay, I said, but there's no reasonable expectation that someone who went into the Publix or to ABC to buy this beer would get confused and buy that wine. There's no reasonable expectation that could ever happen. That argument lost, by the way, but
the judge was an idiot.
Yeah.
My opinion, not his.
When we get back, we'll ask Ben, when it comes to starting a small startup, if you don't really have the funds to pay for the legal fees, what other options do you have if you want to build a good business with a good structure? Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Happy Hour Holidaze. We were asking Ben, if you're a small startup, I mean, just like us, I mean, we don't really have a lot of capital going into it. We obviously wanted to set up the business the right way, but we just didn't have the capital in order to do it. So if somebody...
Yeah, we had Rocket Lawyer.
Yeah, it was Rocket Lawyer. But if you have somebody you meet and they're like, hey man, I really want to set this up right, but I'm a little capital short. What can you do for those people when it comes to that kind of
equity stake, right?
Yeah, certainly a great question, and it's a problem a lot of businesses run into, people run into, and I fear that a lot of people hesitate to start businesses because they don't know what to do in that area. There's multiple different options. We do free consultations, and most business lawyers like myself will do free consultations like that. And, this may surprise you guys a little bit, but I will advise a lot of them to use, LegalZoom, Rocket Lawyer, something like that.
LegalZoom's a ripoff, bro.
It is. And they're not great. But if you just need a document to get you started for the first year, all right, I don't advise this in every situation. It depends on the business, okay? But I'll give them areas where you can save costs on the legal cost and where you shouldn't skim. The lease negotiations is always a place where I say don't skim. Because you can just get killed with that. But, we've offered equity interest, give me 1% in your business, no voting rights or anything like that. Just give me 1% in your business. I'll do your startup cost for free. All your stuff for the first year or whatever it is for free. We've had people do that. We've had people, a lot of the time what we'll say to them is give me 1% in your business or 2% in your business, and you can buy that back from me in a year if you want. Yeah. So that you're 2 years, so that you're up, you got your feet on the ground running. We don't offer that to everybody because I got to believe in your business first. Yeah. If I think it's gonna tank, I'm not gonna offer that. Then I'm just losing money too, and I got a business to run. So,
does your firm own 1% in any businesses currently?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone that has been longer than a year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you guys.
Yeah, I mean, people have the option to buy it back, but it's only 1%, so oftentimes they won't. It's not like there's a voting interest that says,
How do they pay that? Like quarterly, annually?
Yeah, they pay us in dividends if it's, if they're making money.
Would it have been cheaper just to pay you to start it up as opposed?
If they're a business that makes it, yeah, probably, but a lot of them don't have the money.
No.
So, a lot of them are doing everything they can to avoid taking an SBA loan.
Yeah. And Ben, when you said that you negotiate most of the leases when these small businesses says, "Oh, I got a realtor," do you advise against that and go, "I'm going to obviously be better than a realtor"?
Yeah, well, a realtor is going to have different. Realtors are great and they're an important part of this, but they are looking for different things in a lease than I am.
They're looking for commission.
Yeah, well, they're getting their commission on it, but I mean, I'm getting paid on it too. But the idea is that the realtor isn't looking to protect that business 5 years, 10 years down the road. The realtor's relationship ends with that business once that lease is signed. All right. Now I know some great realtors in the area who that doesn't. They will continue to help and advise and stuff like that. But I'm trying to establish a client for a 10-year, 15-year period, and I'm giving them advice on this is what I've seen happen to businesses. This is what I've seen take businesses down. These are the things we need to negotiate on. And a lot of these landlords are, they're not going to flex on a lot of things, but some things they are flexible on. I just had a business over in Orlando who is getting crushed because they signed a lease. They came to me after signing the lease. They signed the lease, and the landlord was doing all kinds of construction on the parking lot. Well, the city shut down the parking lot, so this business opens. Nobody can park there. So they just got crushed. So they went 6 months of having just minimal people able to come in, and it just killed them. They're scratching now to try and get out of that, but and then you get in a fight with a landlord who's got, especially early on in your startup business, who's got more money than you do. So they, right or wrong, they can push you to the brink of having to resolve a situation that ultimately you probably could win, but you're going to pay my legal fees to fight something in court for 2 years when that means your business is probably going under anyway. So, landlords can really cause a difficulty for a business, and a great landlord can be a great asset to a business.
I would say our landlord is awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, having a great landlord who wants your business to do great and wants you to do great, that's just a huge stress reliever for especially a startup business or a small business. And then you got the landlords who are uninterested, just send me your check and we don't care. And then you got your other ones who are there on a daily basis checking to see if you're following the lease and stuff like that.
Which is a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass, but sometimes the property's so great that you'll take that. You'll say, all right, you know what, they're going to be a pain in the butt, but this is the property I want.
Location.
Yeah, I'll give up. Going back to breweries, I tell all the startup breweries or anybody, you either got to have an unbelievable location for your brewery, like great spot where people can walk to and they can sit outside and drink, or you got to have fantastic beer. Because you got fantastic beer, I don't care where you are, people are going to come. All right. If you got a great spot that's family oriented, people are going to come. But if your spot's okay and your beer's okay, you might make it a few years, but long run, you're not going to survive.
Can you name like what you would consider is some of the best brewery companies that you represent?
Yeah, I mean,
if that's even possible, I don't know.
I mean, I can just tell you, I won't go by who I represent. I'll just tell you what I think are the three best breweries for
God,
beer.
this guy's a lawyer, man.
In the Tampa area, I'll give you my three best breweries, and I think that
Florida Ave?
Cigar City is probably the best brewery, and if you guys haven't been in there, for their food's fantastic too.
Where are they even at? Because
Cigar City's right down behind the Home Depot on South Main,
okay,
the original one.
That's the one that I was
That's-
thinking.
yeah,
So that's not Florida Ave.
That's
no,
not
Florida Ave is in Wesley Chapel.
They actually have another. So Florida Ave started on Florida Ave in the Heights.
Yeah.
And then they shut down. It became Brew Bus, and they opened one in Wesley Chapel, which is fantastic. But now they opened another smaller version of Florida Ave back on Florida Ave.
Which one is the one in Dunedin?
Seventh Son is fantastic in Dunedin.
Yeah, that was
I was just going to say Seventh Son is a top brewery in this area. They had a spot in Tampa, and they're doing some work there right now. But the Seventh Son one in the Dunedin area, I mean, it's fantastic. Their beer is just unreal. It's female owned, female run, great place.
It's a cool spot too.
Yeah.
Where they got it. It's by the water, isn't it?
Close to the water.
Close to the water.
Close to the water.
Going back to leases, they got a great lease.
They got a great lease. Yeah.
Angry Chair Brewing is, if you're just going by beer.
Yeah, where is that at?
Angry Chair Brewing's in Seminole Heights on Florida Avenue. It's where Florida Ave Brewing used to be when it first started. And then Brew Bus, and now it's Angry Chair.
So is that Florida Ave by Hillsborough, or?
Yeah, by Martin Luther King. They're right by
Luther King.
MLK and Florida Ave. They're literally right at that intersection.
Where it's the one way?
It's one way at that point.
Yeah.
No, it's two ways. It becomes one way right after that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But if you're just going beer quality, Angry Chair Brewing is as good as it gets. I mean, their beer is. They have they release bottles maybe every 2 months or something like that, and they get people wait the night before. They line up outside the building.
No way.
You shit
like an iPhone, huh?
Like Black Friday, dog.
These bottles sell out in the first 20 minutes.
Are they small 12 ounces?
No, you can get six.
Growlers?
Usually 6 of them, and they're the 32-ounce bottles. But and these people are diehard beer fanatics. That's not me. I'm a beer guy, but I'll just get a different beer. I'm not waiting in line all night. But that's the best pure beer place.
What kind of beer is it?
Usually those are stouts. The ones that sell like that are flavored stouts, like a German chocolate cupcake one or something like that.
Oh.
Not my style.
Yeah,
you take a sip and you're like, this is fantastic, but it's not my style.
Do you like Guinness?
I love Guinness.
Okay, is it like Guinness? What you just
they're
described?
darker than a Guinness. They're
darker.
They're darker than a Guinness.
Shit, bro.
But Guinness got Iron Count. I drink those on lunch, Friday at lunch before.
What are
golf.
they?
Yeah.
Iron counts?
Yeah, the Guinness has a lot of iron in it, so
that's
good
okay.
for you. In the beer sense.
Hey, drink this one. It'll make it better.
In the medieval times when there was no water, they would drink beer.
Hey,
beer has nutritional value.
It's got some stuff in it that's good for you. You guys ever drink mead?
Yes, I hate it.
Yeah, so there's a good meadery over in the Heights too called Garagiste Meadery. It's a fantastic place. They won a couple international awards for best mead.
Are you kidding me?
They had a peanut butter and jelly one. I swear to God, I'm not a mead guy. You know what I mean? I've had it. They had a peanut butter and jelly mead that you would just spend the rest of your life trying to figure out how could you make a honey wine taste like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Well, they did it.
Clearly, you love beer, and that's why you represent breweries.
I do,
because you're like, yo, dog, I'm going here. I'm getting the beer for free. That's it.
Hey, if it's being tapped,
Hey, Ben, do you ever see yourself or, currently right now where you're kind of like a strategic advisor or a board member for any of these businesses that you sit in? Do they?
Yeah.
I know a lot of them, they give you a retainer. They're like, hey, we want to keep you on and see if we have any other legal fees. But you see a lot of them being like, hey, you've dealt with so much business. Maybe we want to do mergers and acquisitions or something like that. And we want your advice on it.
So I'm on the board for a couple different businesses that I work with, but I'm also on the board of the Tampa Bay Brewers Alliance, which is something I started with Joey Redner and a few other people from different breweries in the area. And what we're trying to do is really promote beer events in the Tampa Bay area. So I'm on the board of that. I'm on the board of a couple businesses. I'm also on the board, this is off notch, but of the United States Naval Sea Cadets.
Oh, wow.
I sit on the board of
United States Naval Sea Cadets?
Sea Cadets, yeah. It's an organization that promotes youth development, not just in inner city areas, but in, across the country for if you want your kids to learn kind of military structure and everything like that, that it's a weekly thing that these kids can do and come to. And it's huge.
Do they have it in Tampa?
They have one in Tampa and they have one in Dade City. And it's a big national thing that I kind of got thrust into through my membership at Hunter's Green.
Once again, the freaking membership, man. I told you we should get something.
But go back to
Carrollwood was a little bit outrageous after COVID.
But to go back to answering your question, not just on the board, but I have a lot of clients who come to me and not just legal advice, but they'll ask about, how can we push the business to the next step, or, what problems we have coming forward, how can we avoid these and stuff like that. So, and I enjoy being a part of that.
Okay. And then do you also facilitate any M&As?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
Never anything big. Mainly just different small business clients who are merging with other businesses or selling. But yeah, I do those as well with one of my business partners.
What do you see the toughest in that when it comes to mergers and acquisitions? Like, what's one of the toughest things that you see when two businesses are merging, two different owners? They still want to be the boss, You
got. I think the main thing is you had two different people who were running the show, and now they're not independently running the show anymore. So the key is, from a non-legal perspective, but from a perspective of making sure this works, is making sure everybody understands how the business is going to be run following the merger. That's something that a lot of businesses and people don't, foresee. They just think that this is how it's going to be, instead of having that difficult conversation ahead of time. Often like, hey, this is who's going to be running the show. This is going to be the decision maker. Because you can document it all you want, but that doesn't mean that somebody who's been doing it for 10 years is going to just take their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
So it gets difficult.
But they have to, don't they?
They have to.
Yeah.
But you don't want infighting either. So if someone's doing it or overstepping their bounds, you also don't want to be fighting over that either. So it's, one of the things about being a lawyer is having that hard conversation with people. Being able, not just that, but in all aspects. Like, hey,
telling them, hey, you're not going to be the boss anymore.
I tell people all the time, hey, you're going to lose this case. I don't know what to tell you. I know you think you did right. I know you think you were right. And I just had to have this with a close friend I had to have this conversation with just yesterday. I know you think you were right, and maybe, from a moral perspective you were, but from a legal perspective, you're going down. So now how do I let this ship sink as gently as possible?
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah,
Talking about ship sinking, did you hear about the $20 billion off the coast of Colombia?
I did. Treasure hunting movies are coming back in because,
bro.
they found $20 billion. Now
$20 billion.
Wait till you see the fight over that, though. Wait till you see the
you
fight
already
that's
heard
coming.
it, bro. So somebody apparently found it like 5 years ago, and then Colombia comes back and says, no, the Navy found it, and it was like 100 miles south of it. So now they're saying we own all rights to the gold. Well, who the fuck's going to want to salvage it?
Yeah, well, wasn't it the Spanish gold, though?
It was Spanish gold.
You watch, they're going to come in, too, and they're going to say,
yeah, Spain's going to come in, yeah.
That was our gold.
But the problem is it wasn't in international waters, which means that they claim it, yeah. That's something off topic. I
I'm with you on that one. I often read about Pablo Escobar and where he used to hide his money in the ground.
Yeah.
And people still
Bury
go
it.
on trips to look for that because they think there's like 80 to 100 million still buried down.
Have you ever seen the one with Matthew McConaughey and Penelope Cruz?
Oh, no, McConaughey and
bro, it was Sahara.
Yeah.
Sahara.
They find the ship in the desert.
Yeah, where it was a Confederate ship with a shit ton of gold from the Queen of England because they were trying to get the Confederacy to win as opposed to the North.
Good movie. I like
that was
McConaughey.
Awesome. They found it in the middle of the fucking desert. Dude, I mean, talking about people digging up, looking for Pablo Escobar's money, I mean...
Hey, all kinds of ways to make money. Who would have thought $20 billion on a shipwreck? But,
Yeah, that's a lot.
If they can pull it up, 3,000. What submarine was that? 10,000 feet?
Yeah, it's
Bro,
deep.
how are they going to salvage 3,000 feet? They're not gonna just bring a big net. I don't fuck if I know.
But how do you tell small businesses to manage risk as they grow and they get more exposure to vendors and employees? How do you kind of guide these businesses through that?
Managing risk is obviously important for a business to do. You want to avoid all risk if possible, but that's not really a reality. Mm-hmm. So, we have to advise them all the time on different types of insurance to get, different types of employment contracts. I don't do employment law, but I got a business partner who does. So I go to him on that stuff. But, one of the bigger risks these days, too, is sexual harassment claims, discrimination claims that are coming out of everywhere. So having a good employee handbook for things like that, once you get big enough as a business, having the right insurance, because, one of the big fallacies in the state of Florida is, I'm fully insured. That doesn't just go to auto insurance, but also businesses say that to me all the time. Anybody who tells me they're fully insured, I know that they are not insured properly, because those terms are coming from some kind of insurance agent who told them that.
Yeah.
That to me, I always crack up when I hear it, but that means you're not insured properly. Having proper insurance for your business, having not just your CGLs, but your specific insurance that's tailored to your business is incredibly important.
What are CGLs?
Commercial general liability policy.
Oh, okay.
So that's just your general business is going to have, they're all going to have some kind of CGL policy that protects them, because you never know what's going to happen. You don't know what employee is going to make some crazy claim. You don't know what employee is going to be driving a truck and hit somebody. You don't know what person is going to slip and fall walking into your business on nothing, but they did. I've seen crazy claims coming from all kinds of people in all kinds of situations, and you can never 100% protect yourself or your business, but you can do your best. And getting legal advice, sitting down and talking that through is very important. And again, I would say anybody who says fully insured, probably a crock of shit.
Yeah, it's not really what they are. Well, when we get back to Happy Hour Holidaze, what has been some notable cases? He doesn't have to say the names, obviously, because he's an attorney, but it's just a situation of what it was and how you could have prevented it. So we'll be right back. All right, so we're back with Happy Hour Holidaze, and I was asking Ben about maybe some memorable cases that he had within, your field of knowledge.
I got a lot over the last 12 years. I think some of the most interesting ones that we've had is, I did an entertainment case with a couple, I won't use their names, but a couple big name artists, rappers from back in my day, from the 90s. Who were battling out over an estate, over entitlement to royalties. It was a really interesting case. I liked both guys on both sides because I listened to both of them. But that took me all over the country to get it figured out. It was maybe the most intimidating courthouse I've ever been in. Was the Southern District of New York, in front of Judge Daniels on the 34th floor, right down there in New York City. I mean, we got young lawyers who go to courthouse here in Tampa, the county courthouse and stuff, and they're nervous. They're shaking. I try and tell them, I say, this is nothing. I don't get nervous. There's very few things I get nervous for, especially where it affects me. That courthouse just had me the history. These are the guys trying the 9/11 terrorists and stuff like that. So what an interesting case it was over the royalties. It was something that was in a lot of ways new to me. I met some really interesting people on it, but just fascinating, how the law is written. And I can tell you this, the one thing that I learned for sure out of that is that most of these artists have no idea how their royalties actually work and how they work once they pass away, who gets them, who has the rights.
Is that because they didn't have a lawyer in the beginning of the negotiations for the contract?
Even if they got a lawyer, these are things that are very complicated to understand, even from my perspective, and I've read it 1,000 times, and I still, in a lot of ways didn't understand, exactly how it was done. Mainly, experience is the number one thing where you learn how to understand stuff like that. And the people in that industry, I can tell you this, new artists coming in have no idea. And then people who've been in that industry start to learn it over and over because the terms become more repetitive and everything like that. So, if you are going into entertainment, talk to at least an entertainment lawyer of some sort. That's not something I really do. I did that one case that was more based on contract law, but it's something that's very confusing.
I mean, because you got to think about it. The artists have had the most because they had LimeWire come out. Then you could basically,
this guy said LimeWire.
Napster was the first big fight.
No, but LimeWire was the what was it? The P2P.
No, but
person-to-person sharing.
Napster was the first big fight.
That was Mark Cuban, wasn't it?
No, that was
Napster was Mark Cuban. No, that was Sean
Parker.
Sean Parker. Yeah.
Yeah. So the artists went through that. Then freaking iTunes, then Spotify.
iTunes actually helps them because you got to buy the song, don't you, to listen?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Spotify
I don't
helps
have
now
Apple
because you get the hits. So they've changed how they pay on those things now. But the law was evolving very fast with the technology. It was behind the technology a little bit, but it came out. Eminem is actually the one who had the seminal case against the Spotify hits to say, well, every time someone listens to my music on Spotify, I want to get paid. And prior to that, Spotify was the one getting paid. So there was a seminal case on that. I don't know the exact details of it, but he won, yeah.
Yeah.
He won, and it set precedent for the rest of these artists to collect money based on hits on Spotify.
That's why Eminem's the GOAT, man.
I love Eminem, man.
Yeah.
I wish he would tour outside of Michigan, but he won't.
Really?
He's a big Detroit
I didn't even
guy.
know he was even on tour ever.
Yeah, well, he just who's the country guy that he just came in and did it with? I'm gonna yell at my wife here. She'll know. Ed
Sheeran.
Not a country
Not a
guy.
country guy. Yeah, not a country guy.
Maybe that's why I was wrong on
Yeah.
that. But yeah, he just surprised everybody at an Ed Sheeran show.
I
in
remember
Detroit.
that. Yeah, that was cool.
To go to another interesting case that I'm currently working on, and I can use a name here, but Taylor Wright is a young girl who was murdered in just outside of Tallahassee, Florida, by her best friend over about $40,000. And my firm has some connections to some family of hers, and we're representing her son, her young son, and her husband, her late husband now, in a pursuit to recover from the girl who did it is in prison, but her family is wealthy, and her family is the one who gave her the gun. Now, obviously, I don't know if they knew she was going to use it for that, but this girl had all kinds of mental issues, and they're giving her a gun, and we believe that that's a negligent security is what we call it, is the case. It's going to be a very interesting legal fight.
Can you give us a little bit of background on the $50,000, $40,000? Like, did she loan it to her?
Yeah, she loaned it to her, and when the friend couldn't pay it back, she had used it for drugs and whatnot, and
then that friend killed
her.
her.
She says, well, yeah, I'm going to pay you back. Come to my farmhouse with me. I got it over there. She takes her outside the barn, shoots her in the back of the head, and then buries her body.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, and the family. This is there's a couple shows out there on the different streaming platforms that have different recitations of what happened and all kinds of interviews with the family. So it's very sad because she got a young kid. Very interesting from a legal perspective. It's a real interesting fight because it's not a clear cut.
Well, she's guilty, isn't she?
Well, she's guilty. So criminally, yeah, she's guilty, but she didn't have any money. So I'm trying to recover some money for the young kid, to get something in his pocket, for his mom's death. And it's terrible. And we could get a money judgment against the girl who shot her. That's easy, but there's no money to get. So, I mean, that's another thing about, you hear about all these big verdicts and stuff like that. What you don't hear about is how much money did somebody actually get. There was a big $211 million verdict that came out the other day.
But how much can they collect? Yeah.
And not only that, you're going to see multiple levels of appeals. You probably see that case get tried again. I know that one was a big Netflix special as well.
But who was the one that? So the wealthy family is the one who loaned the money?
No. My client loaned the money. They loaned the gun to the girl who shot my client.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying. Who's the one who shot the one in the back of the head? From the wealthy family?
From the wealthy family.
So because the poor person couldn't pay the rich person shot.
She didn't want to go to her family for drug money. Something like that.
That's a weird one.
It's a twist. Yeah, it's a weird one.
That's a movie coming out in 2025.
It probably will be someday.
Ben's gonna write the contract for the rights to the movie.
Actually, as someone who'll probably be in the movie. No, I'm joking.
This was the actual. We didn't have a stand-in character. He is. The character.
We do a lot of as part of our civil duty to the state of Florida. We do a lot of work with different state of Florida agencies and defend them or tell them when they got to pay cases out and stuff like that. I've had some very interesting Department of Corrections cases. It's just some extremely interesting ones.
Prison cases?
Yeah, prison cases. I've had some interesting...
by inmates accusing other inmates? Or?
Inmates accusing other inmates, inmates accusing corrections officers, stuff like that. So I've got a wide array of just interesting cases that, you wouldn't believe. I had a brewery where, this is part of the law that's changing right now, but a dog, somebody brought their dog in, bites another patron, and they want to blame the brewery.
Well, they should blame the owner.
You would think, but in today's day and age, everybody thinks they hit the lottery ticket as soon as they get in a car accident or as soon as they get hurt in some way.
Well, I can actually see the defense because the brewery allowed the dog to be in the establishment, which means that then it poses a risk to the other patrons.
So does the brewery know that dog's a risk, though? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, it was.
But it allowed the dog not knowing whether it's a risk or not. I don't know. I guess I'm making a case against you now.
Yeah, no, I know. And maybe you should have been a lawyer on the other side. Oh,
no, trust me. I wanted to be a lawyer. It's just too much school.
But that wasn't that was not a covered because we, this is one of the areas we didn't anticipate that someone would go after the brewery for the dog biting. You think they would go after the owner of the dog?
Well, the brewery should probably hang up a sign, hey, enter at your own risk when there are animals present or something like that. But then that scares away customers. Or no animals.
No more animals coming into that brewery, I'll tell you that much. Or, the Department of Health is shutting down a lot of them now where they have dogs coming in if you serve food. So that's a new thing that the Department of Health is focused on.
Hey, how about this one? I've been to some places that allow you to smoke inside. Is there a reason why you're able
Private
to?
Club?
No. Where it's they serve food, but I think it's the amount of food sold is outweighed by the amount of alcohol sold, which means that you can
smoke cigarettes inside.
Yeah, smoke cigarettes inside.
And I don't know about that one.
Hey, you even think about a cigar bar, bro.
Cigar bars are different. It's a different license.
Oh, is it?
It's a different license.
Oh, okay. There's one off of Hillsboro, like by Tampa Road.
Cigars International is fantastic. That's up.
I love that.
They're affordable too.
Yeah, and they're mad cheap.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And, you go there, watch a game, and have a cigar on the patio and something. That's awesome. But to answer your question, a cigar bar is a different license from what smoking cigarettes inside. I know that like the Hub downtown allows cigarettes inside, but they are grandfathered in to some of those, like past some of those laws. So once they banned it, they had already established themselves as a facility that did it. So they allowed them to keep that going. I know private establishments allow it. You guys will be interested in this. Some of the golf simulator bars that you're going to see more and more of those open over the next
like
years,
which one?
Oh wait, they opened one up in downtown.
Yeah, you're talking about Yeoman's.
Yeoman's.
Yeah, but Yeoman's was already
Yeoman's
open.
was a place,
yeah.
And then they put the golf simulator place in there. But now there are these like five iron golf is up in New York City and Chicago. It's bigger up there because in the winter it's huge. But you're going to see places like that eventually open down here where they're bars that are strictly for golf simulators, and they will do private membership. There is one down here. I forget the name of it. Spade's going to hate me.
Are you talking about in South Tampa?
Yeah.
It's called like Birdies.
Birdie Bros or no,
I think it's called Birdies in South Tampa.
Yeah, it might be. But
Yeah.
Spade knows the guys who started that, and it's supposedly fantastic. But
It's got like 5 days.
if you have a private membership, all right, you can allow in certain instances you could allow smoking in there.
Yeah, but what if there's a drop ceiling, man? Doesn't that just seep into the next unit?
Feel bad for that unit. No, but now you might have a landlord that says under no circumstance can you allow smoking in here, or you need to redo the ceiling if you're going to allow smoking
Or proper
in there,
ventilation.
or proper ventilation, stuff like that. It's
Because we looked into it for people to smoke cigars in here, and wasn't allowed.
really the landlord said no, or
No.
Well, I mean, we wanted to put ventilation fans that suck up the air and just spit it out, but it just didn't work out.
yeah, that'd be awesome though.
It was modification.
Yeah.
I know, dude. Yeah, that's
I would
Brad.
have one.
Bro, Brad wanted to. Brad
man.
wanted to. But not only that, but we get some people on here that want to smoke weed, and it's like, okay, or even a vape pen. It's like,
And they can't do any of it either.
Yeah.
No,
kind of sucks.
make an interesting show.
Yeah.
Hey, it would, right? It looked like that.
Hey, Elon.
Yeah. Ben, how'd you get into golf, man?
My dad.
Your dad
My
was
dad was a big time golfer. My late father, was a big time golfer. Loved it. Loved taking me. Taught me at a young age, and it's
In Wisconsin?
No, in Eastern Pennsylvania. I was in Eastern Pennsylvania, and back then it was carts weren't as big back then, so we used to walk and carry the bag and stuff like that. I played high school golf. I played junior golf. Played junior tournaments. Was always good, but never great. And then I was caddying at Saucon Valley Country Club to make money in the summer, and which was just an incredible experience because that place was just unbelievable.
Are you played Stream Song?
I've played Stream Song.
All of the courses, or
I haven't played Black.
no?
I haven't played Black. I played Red a couple times and Blue a couple times.
Black's the best one, man.
I heard Black's fantastic. I'm going to get back.
The
to
only
that.
one I haven't played is Red.
Red, yeah.
Red.
Red's awesome. Red's awesome, and Red's.
I heard it's the hardest one.
Red. I heard that Red has the smokehouse on it though, and the other ones don't. And
Smokehouse?
Oh my God, they got a barbecue smokehouse on like the 12th hole.
No way.
You can smell it from a quarter mile away. You know what's coming.
So you can eat.
Oh yeah, they got these huge grills out there, and they got the jalapeno cheddar sausages and stuff like that. It's just unbelievable. If you ever been to Old Memorial, they got that same thing at the Happy Hour.
Yeah.
I've been,
Old Mo,
but I was
bro.
too busy playing pig.
Dude, the only time I've ever been to Old Memorial, it was during a tropical storm, and it was with a buddy of ours. So he got invited the first time, and then I got invited the second time, and then I failed to wake up. So my brother's on the way there, and I call him. I'm like, "Yo, bro, it's still on. Please let me play it," because he was like halfway there. And he was like, okay, motherfucker.
Got to do it.
Yeah, gotta do it. But during it, I'm not shitting you. 70-mile-per-hour winds. I got the rain gloves on, the rain jacket that I bought at Old Mo. That was
the
180.
Still great.
Yeah, no, I wasn't, man. I was like, fuck, I gotta walk through this shit. Caddy's like, you're doing a great job. I shot like 120.
Yeah, I've played some very difficult courses in the country.
That's the best course, though, or
no, that's not the best one I played. I played Oakmont. I played
Oakmont in California.
No, Oakmont in Western Pennsylvania, outside Pittsburgh, where Dustin Johnson won the U.S. Open.
Oh, shit.
I played Pinehurst #2. It's
Augusta?
fantastic. Haven't played Augusta. I played Kiowa Island, which is the most difficult course I've ever played in my life.
Say that again.
Kiowa Island.
Is that in
South
Hawaii?
Carolina. That's where Phil Mickelson won the PGA a few years ago.
Oh, shit.
And Rory won it before that there. They had a Ryder Cup there like 20 years ago too. So fantastic place.
Oh, so you were a
Beth
golf
Page
fan.
is the next Ryder Cup's at Bethpage. I've played there in New York. That's fantastic. But Florida's got great courses.
Have you ever played in Arizona?
Yeah, I played in Scottsdale. Played Desert Mountain, one of the coolest
Have you ever played
places.
Quintero?
No.
Oh, that's just outside of Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the name.
Yeah, it's a great course. It's the best course I've ever played.
Yeah,
by far.
There's some unbelievable
Lookout
courses out there.
Mountain.
And
Have
the
you
ball-
played Lookout Mountain?
I have not.
Damn, you ever played in Phoenix?
I played in
just did.
Scottsdale.
Yeah.
I played
TPC Scottsdale.
No, I played Desert Mountain
Desert
out
Mountain.
there. I played Tonto Verde, which is okay, but Desert Mountain is one of the exclusive clubs in the country.
How about Troon?
I've been to Troon.
Boulder?
But I haven't played it.
No.
No, but the ball flies so much further out there.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Bro, I
it's
was hitting my
deceiving.
5-iron like 220. I was like, what the fuck's going on?
It's a game changer.
I'm like, no bullshit. Once I got back to Florida, I told my brother, I was like, I'm going pro. Is that a true story, though?
Yeah.
So I went to the range every day and practice. I was like, oh, no, it's not working.
It's not going 220 anymore.
Yeah. No, but that was pretty cool, though. I mean, to play collegiately, I mean, the mental game, you got to have a hell of a mental game, Ben. I mean, and I'm sure it's helped out with your attorney game, too, man.
Mental games, everything. You see these guys get in there and, because there's a lot of guys that have the ability, but then who can do it every time?
Yeah.
And I didn't have that strong a mental game. Guys like Brad Bruner, those guys, it's unbelievable. Be able to, all of us can make a 5-foot putt, but can you do it every time?
Every time.
All of us can hit a drive down the middle, but can we do it every time?
Yeah.
There's some ridiculous stats of Tiger Woods back in the day where he made something like 1,300 out of 1,305 5-foot putts in a year.
Are you kidding
That's
me?
mental. That's not skill. That's mental.
That's mental.
Discipline.
That's discipline. Yeah. So, Ben, we really appreciate having you on. Do you have anything like final words as far as like either inspiration, motivation, or advice to our audience? Maybe somebody who's starting a small business or just in general what you want to let the audience know about?
Yeah, first off, thank you guys for having me on here. It's fantastic. Thanks, Christian Pena, for recommending me to this show. I think from a legal perspective, the best advice I would give is, make sure you're covering all your bases. Talk to a lawyer. Talk to friends who have started businesses, who are successful businesses. Don't talk to the ones who fail. And just, I encourage people to do their best to start businesses, follow their dreams, but do it right. Talk to the right people, do the right setup, talk to lawyers. I'm a believer that my life changed because that old weird guy walked into the bathroom. So you never know what's
Man and ball.
Yeah, you never know what's coming around the next corner. I'll never forget that, and it changed my life in a positive way. And that's out there for everybody. I mean, you never know what's going to happen on what day. People who are down, keep your head up because you never know. Keep working. We're going through a generation of people who don't want to work as hard anymore. These kids that are coming up, we got to do something about that. I'll tell you that much because we're having trouble hiring associates.
Yeah.
It's no one wants to work hard anymore.
No, and as well said as it can be, I mean, what I got out of a lot of that is take the opportunities. If you see a sign, it could be for something positive. So pursue it, and you might get a dream out of it.
And if you fail, try to land on your back because if you can look up, you can get up.
Thank you, everybody, for watching Happy Hour Holidays. Thank you to Ben to coming in and taking his time. Like, comment, and subscribe. You can listen to all our podcasts on all the major podcast stations. Thank you, and peace out.